Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliot Pierre. We're going to start today's episode off the same way we start every episode off, with a moment of gratitude. I know you could be doing a million other things with your time, and the fact that you spend it with us truly does mean the world to me. So thank you. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro. As everybody at home knows, I do not introduce my guests because they can do a better job of that than myself. So, sir, can you please tell everybody at home who you are and what you're about?
Sure. My name is Jared Whitbread, and I've been a resident of Fort McMurray since 2005, I guess. And I love Fort McMurray. Got lots to say about it.
There you go. And the other thing that you love is the outdoors.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we have the beautiful background of these fall colors today. So
time of year.
It stopped raining. It got a little bit warmer. So now that we're out here. So my first question for you today is in regarding to nature. Was this something that you spent a lot of time in as a kid? How did you find this passion for being outside?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very fortunate. I grew up in a little town called Flin Flon, Manitoba, and very much a small mining town in northern Manitoba. Mm-hmm. And pretty much, you tend to spend a lot of time outdoors growing up in that town. And I was very fortunate. My family was very much an outdoors family, mm-hmm. and raised to be out in the outdoors. And spent a lot of time hunting, fishing, camping. Spending some time up at the trapper cabin with my dad, getting out in the skidoos with the family. Yeah, it was great.
Okay. And so while you were doing this, like you said, you were just with your dad. Was this like a whole family thing sometimes, or was it independent as well?
No, I'd say it depended on the age, really. When we were little, it was very much family. And as we grew up and got older and were, teens, my brother and I would get out and explore the outdoors and, hunt and fish on our own and get out and hit the trails on our dirt bikes and quads and pick blueberries and all that good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
So then you transitioned that into a career. So you went and just lived in the woods and you did it professionally, though. Can you explain that to everybody at home? Because I know a little bit about your story, and every time I hear it, I'm just like, I would never do any of that.
I started the career. I started off wanting to be a conservation officer. It was my passion and my dream. Mm-hmm. And, just from all the activities that my parents got me involved with as a kid. And then I moved out to Alberta in 2001, and I went to Lethbridge College, studied conservation enforcement down there, or resource management. And then I got into wildland firefighting out of Cypress Hills Provincial Park, and did that for 2 years, and I kind of got the bug doing that job. And I kind of got the, as they say, got the fire bug, and great people in that career path, and I just kind of stuck with it and ended up staying in the profession of wildland firefighter. So I've been in that profession since 2003, I guess.
Yeah. Now, when you go to school for something like that, what is a class look like?
So majority of folks in that profession, they come from a variety of different professions. Actually, we have folks, like when you start off as an entry-level, firefighter, you can come from kinesiology. We have people that have been in teaching degrees. Generally speaking, the permanent path in that career comes from a forestry technical diploma, or a forestry degree, or environmental science degree, natural resource degree, something in that realm. Mm-hmm. And so that's the majority of folks within the profession full-time come from that forestry-related background.
Right. And so when you're going to school, when I teach at Keanu, I have the students are in class sometimes, but then we go on field trips.
Yeah.
So is it the same kind of thing? I'm assuming there has to be some kind of outdoor component to this, or is it all classroom-based learning? Oh
no, I went to NATE, Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, and took their forestry technology program. And that's what it was called at the time. Mm-hmm. 2-year diploma. And one of the great things about that program is right off the bat you start off with a 3-week field camp in up by Whitecourt called Kidney Lake, and it's straight 2 weeks in the field, right off the bat, learning your foundational field skills, and that's how I started my my academic profession in forestry.
That's cool.
Yeah, so really cool introduction to that profession.
Yeah. So when you're out in nature, basically in the woods, like, are they telling you, because I took a forestry class when I was in grade 9 or 10, and like a component of it was like our midterm is we had to start a fire in the middle of January here in Fort McMurray, like it was winter, so like that was just a survival tool. Another one was like we went camping, and so they're like, you need to put your emergency kit together. So like what kind of things in the field were you getting into?
Well, in that program they taught and I think at this time, they still do at this time, a variety of field components of all different kind of aspects of the profession. So one of the most memorable things was their outdoor survival lab. So you had to, you were paired up in groups of 2, and you had to survive for basically on the land for 24 hours. So you packed in some very basic, food, as if what you would have in your backpack kind of going in.
Yeah.
And you had to build a shelter, and so this was in February, right? So it was minus 28, I think. And so the one thing, we were allowed to bring whatever sleeping bag we wanted, but we had to build a lean-to. And so you built a full-on lean-to.
Okay.
Built your campfire, had to self-sustain enough firewood for 24 hours and sleep overnight, and sleeping inside your lean-to as if you were lost in the bush and had to make your own shelter on a campfire and survive the night. And of course there was provisions and processes in place if it got too cold or there was like a windstorm or something like that. But yeah, it was a really good introduction to survival skills. And
that's so cool.
Fortunately, growing up, my father taught me some of those skills, so I had some of that going into the course. But yeah, it was a great, that's just one of the kind of hardcore memories of that program, that of one of those outdoor field survival components.
Yeah.
That you alluded to.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Well, for me that'd be horrible, but if you're into that, that would be
great.
fun.
It's a common thing we talk about for students that have taken that program.
Yeah, nuts. And so now you found yourself here in Fort McMurray.
Yeah.
And you're always outside.
Yeah, yeah. There's so much things to explore and see here.
So like you say that, and so many people don't know about it though. So like we're in the Birchwood Trail area right here, which I think a lot of people do know about because they're groomed, they're mapped out.
Yeah.
But like almost every time that our families get together and you're like, yo, let's go into the woods, you don't take us anywhere near here. You're like, it's somewhere completely different. So how do you remain, or how are you so relevant with the different trail systems in the community?
I think it's a lot of things in this community. You kind of got to look for the opportunities and look for places to explore. Like there's so many clubs in town that a lot of folks don't even know about, right? There's so as an example, I got involved with the Borealis Canoe Club, and they had a huge they introduced me to a huge world of exploring the waterway system. So getting out and kayaking on the Muskeg River and the Clearwater River and Gregoire River and Gregoire Lake, and so that was a whole new area of exploration. And then just seeking out trail opportunities. There's local maps that have, and apps that you can look at that have different trail systems, and just getting out and exploring nature, and you never know what you're going to find.
You're kayaking now?
It's funny. I kayaked, but since we had kids, we kayaked. My wife and I kayaked a lot pre-children, but since we've had children, it's harder to get out, as you know, with as a parent. But yeah, we did a lot of kayaking when I was younger, and we do get out about once or twice a year now still, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we got 2 kayaks in the back.
Wild. Okay, so me and Ethna had a kayak before. Yeah. We had like the double kayak, aka the divorce model. That's what the guy told us when we bought it. He wasn't wrong, actually, because he's like, guys,
we bought two of the same.
Well, our thing was, because I figured I could paddle faster than Ethna, and I didn't want to leave her alone, especially because we were like learning to do it. So I was like, okay, well, if we're in the same boat, then I can't like leave her.
Right.
But the guy was like, listen, like the communication on 2 of you is gonna have to be like stellar. So we got in there the first time, and you're just like, just like going in a circle, and like, and you're like, you're trying not to yell at the person, but like. Right. You're raising your voice. So it wasn't until the 2nd season where we got into a groove and we could paddle together. But yeah, we would go we would go all through Alberta, just put the kayak on top and just drive to different camp areas and then just put it in, and it was just, we had like a canoe type of kayak. It wasn't one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, kids. When Keegan was born, you can't do it as much anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to get out as much.
No.
But, it's we still get out now and then.
Where do you guys
for
go?
a good date day.
Yeah.
Gregor Lake usually. Yeah, it's kind of our go-to spot. Pack a lunch and when the grandparents come up to visit, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Pawn them off and hit the water.
Yeah. Nice. With us, we used to go down to the Snai.
Yeah.
Because it was like, at the time we lived in Beacon Hill.
Yep.
So I just used to leave the kayak on top of the 4Runner and then just 5 minutes get there and just do a little, like you said, date night kind of thing. Hey, do you want to go kayak for half an hour, an hour? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. We used to do the Clearwater River float. We start down Draper.
Oh yeah.
And it took about 2 hours to come down to the Snai. That's another good one. Yeah.
When was the last time you went down Draper?
Oh, a year ago, I think.
Yeah. The expansion out there is wild. Like the new roads that they have, and like the one area where you can like dock your boats.
Yeah, there's two beautiful boat launches down there.
Yeah.
Especially that new one. I forget the name of it. Ron Morgan? No, I forget the name. But anyways, a couple of great opportunities to launch from down there.
Yeah. So when you're in the woods, what's your definition of a good trail?
Of a good trail? Well, I mean, everyone has their own definitions. I think it depends on what recreational activity you're into. So, I mean, if you're into hiking, obviously there's trails around here. I find the trails along the river valleys are very hard packed, and there's actually a large community volunteer base. You'll see it all over Facebook. Folks around town, they're out clearing trails around the river valley, like Athabasca River Valley. So some beautiful hiking trails along the river valley, especially at this time of year. With the leaf changings, it's gorgeous. If you're into more like ATV, snowmobiling, there's the Snowdrifters Club that has some very well maintained groomed trails for snowmobiles that are maintained by a group of volunteers. There's the Wood Buffalo, I think ATV Association, a group. I believe there's tons of, and then there's like all kinds of different trails for ATV use, more in the more, I guess, outside of city limits kind of thing. So yeah, there's me personally. I just like hard packed ground. Like I don't, I like to be able to, whether I'm taking the quads out with the kids, I want to go somewhere where I'm not going to get stuck and have to worry about dealing with a stuck quad with kids, or hiking. Just getting out and just seeing some open, nice spaces, landscape, and that's kind of my jam.
Okay, and now you've mentioned you're doing this with kids.
Yeah.
2 to 3 kids at a time. How? Every time I see these pictures of you out there, like I can't imagine going out with Keegan with like the gear, worried about like, oh, somebody might get hurt. Oh, now we're out in the middle of nowhere, and you do it with 3 kids and they love it. All of the pictures, they're just so happy to do it. How do you manage or put together that ahead of time?
Oh, it's just like anything else. It's like, you plan a trip to the city, or you plan a trip to go see the grandparents or see family. Same thing. You just pack up your snacks. Lots of snacks is key, as any parent knows, with small children.
Yeah.
Pack lots of snacks. And pack lots of snacks, lots of water, and just get out and try to make it an adventure, I find,
Okay.
Obviously, depending on the time of year, like we like to get out a lot in March, in April, I find, as well as September and August is our most favorite times of year, the shoulder seasons.
Yeah.
No bugs, right?
Yeah.
That's a bonus at that time of year, and temperatures are moderately warmer, pack lots of layers of clothes, pack extra clothes, and just get out, pack some hot dogs and some marshmallows and s'mores, and marshmallows and s'mores will keep any kid happy. Doesn't matter where you go.
That's your trick.
Right? Marshmallows, s'mores, a little bit of chocolate.
Yeah.
Hot dogs, you're good. It can be cold out.
Yeah.
As long as you got those things, a little campfire, you're good to go.
And your kids love it. They look forward to it too. Like sometimes, like we've been hanging around and I've seen them come up to you and be like, hey, what are we doing tomorrow, Dad? And just like going into the woods, like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
for sure. So you've really all about the adventure.
Yeah, you built in that like sense of adventure in them to be outdoor kids.
Yeah, I think that's important. There's so much to see and do out here. Like this community has got so much to offer.
Yeah.
In the winter, I get it's super cold up here in the winter. In the north, but that's, we got so much activities and opportunities here indoors.
Yeah.
And then the outdoor space. Like when it warms up a bit, like get your kids outdoors. There's so much to explore and see and do, and you don't have to have a quad or skidoo or any of those vehicles. You just get out, and there's so many hiking trails right from the back of pick a subdivision in town, and there's a trail off it to go explore. You can go up Tower Road, and there's a bunch of different trails up there. You can go. There's trails up by Sapere Creek. There's trails all around Fort McMurray proper as well.
Yeah, and then like the things you can do in the winter here, like I'm actually more outdoorsy in the winter than I am in summer. Between like snowshoeing, snowboarding, you could walk through the trail still. Like these trails are super well groomed. My mom cross country skis, so for me in the winter.
Yeah,
I get out there.
There's skiing, like cross country skiing. Yeah, like I used to cross country ski a lot. Haven't get in and out of it, but yeah, a lot of our friends mutually, cross country ski. This has got a fantastic trail system here that they groom.
Yeah, right here out of the Doug Barnes cabin that's behind us. Like you can join the ski club too, cross country ski club.
Yeah, I think they have super cheap ski rentals too for families.
Very affordable.
Very affordable. Yeah,
very affordable.
And that's one of the things I love about this community is that it's you're born and raised here. I came up here in 2005, and I've just seen the community grow to a very family-oriented community. So many things to do. Anything you want to, put your kid in, there's an opportunity. Any outdoor recreational activity you want to get into, there's, it's available. So. Yeah, skiing, snowshoeing is another fun one, as well.
Have you got your kids out to Vista at all?
Yeah, we went out last winter. Last winter? Yeah, tubing. We went to the tube park. Kids love the tube park, but I really haven't hit up the ski hill yet with the kids. That's on the docket for this winter.
Is it?
Yeah, we'd love
all
to.
Three or just?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, I know your wife's a superstar on the skis.
Oh yeah, EK is nuts. Ethna, like I don't know how she does it. Like I took a hiatus from going to the ski hill with them just because like I couldn't handle watching Keegan fall. Like every time because he was fine, but I was looking at him snowboarding, and so like I've never fallen so much myself in the year that he was like getting going, because I was just like always paying attention. Next thing you know, you catch an edge and I go for the tumble. But like she was like with him, like she would put on the harness and like ski with him like all the time and go down like all of the runs, and like she's got skills when it comes to skiing.
I believe it.
Me, not so much. Snowboarding, I can snowboard, but I can't teach a toddler how to snowboard. So now he's about, by the time this airs, he'll be 10. And so he was talking about like getting back out to Vista. He's like, maybe I might try snowboarding this year. I'm just like, maybe, whatever. We'll see. Like we grew up here, like I grew up here, like you were saying, and there's just so much beautiful things to do outside. And back in the day, you had no choice. It was either get out or be bored inside. There was no such thing as the internet when I was a kid. So like you just had to like go outside, and so we got adapted to it in regards to like hanging outside.
I find you gotta nowadays it's so easy to get sucked into the tech, so you have to consciously as a family, I think, make those decisions to unplug and get out and get out and do some stuff.
Keegan says touch grass.
Touch grass. That's
that's his thing.
Get out and touch
hey dad,
grass.
man, go touch grass. Thanks,
Yeah.
kid. Like some of the sayings now, but like, touch grass every once in a while.
Well, my daughter we were down at when the water level was down at the Athabasca River Valley.
Oh yeah.
Last week we were down there making inuksuks in the rock beds and playing in the mud, and my daughter's just like, it's so free out here. She just loves it, right? So the kids, they love that stuff.
Yeah. So another thing that you're passionate about is forest fires and prevention of them.
Yeah.
So let's chat a little bit about that in regards to Fort McMurray did have a wildfire about 8 to 9 years ago, give or take.
Yeah.
But like the growth has come back. Like I'm looking around and you're seeing a lot of the growth, but with that also, unfortunately, this year we had to evacuate again because there's like a lot of fuel that's around. So what are some things that just people could be cautious and mindful of, like during the down seasons, to help prevent in the peak seasons for fire?
Yeah, I think there's, Alberta Wildfire puts a lot of great messaging out on their app about wildfire prevention that the public can refer to.
Yeah.
But yeah, putting out your campfires, when you're out recreating in the forest, making sure, like, there's a lot of folks that get out in quads and skidoos in this community, have campfires in the winter and the spring and fall, and putting out your campfires is the number one thing that folks can do, and make sure it's out, right? So take your bucket of water with you, and take a shovel, and soak it down and stir it, and give it a good soak, and be mindful of checking your hot spots on your ATVs, when you're getting out. Those are like probably the top two things that residents can do when they're out recreating in the forest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I got a total switch of topics because I've been waiting to talk to you about this specifically. So myself and Tanner went to some festivals this year.
Yeah.
Camping out,
Okay.
living like hippies.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you tell me about that.
Big shout out to Frenzy Fest and Base Canyon. So, but like the one here in Alberta was just outside of Edmonton, so we could drive down to it.
Okay.
The other one was in Washington.
Yeah.
Washington State. And so we had to fly there. So our camping equipment was...
I just went to Washington.
Nothing. You went to Washington?
No, I didn't know you went to Washington.
Oh, yeah. To a place called the Gorge.
Nice. Oh, the Gorge.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
25,000 people were at the event I was at.
I've heard about the Gorge.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's like... beautiful. You should come with us next year if we go to Base Canyon. I don't know if you're into dubstep, but
well,
you never know.
I did
but
go through a tech phase.
you might be into it
back
then.
in the day.
So when we went down there, literally I had my Roadrunner North Face tent, two-man tent, and I had a sleeping bag, my little air mattress, and my pillow. That was it. And every day we got out of the tent, and we didn't fly with chairs, so I just sat on the ground. But there was like this one dude who had this camping tent, and it was black. And black. And somehow he could stay in it all the time, in regards to it was like, you would figure it was hot because there's no shade.
Yeah.
So I'm like in my tent by 9:30, you're just like, you got to get up. It's just so hot. And he somehow stayed in his tent the whole time, and he was saying like, it has some technology and stuff. I don't know. So you're a dude who spends a lot of time in the woods.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I need to talk to him about better camping gear. I survived and it was fine. But what would you recommend from a minimalistic standpoint I should be bringing? Or is there like certain sleeping bags that you would recommend, certain tents, like?
There's tons of good brands out there for tents. I mean, I have an MSR Hummingbird.
Okay.
It's kind of like it's a one-person tent, so it's like 2.5 pounds, so lightweight backpacking.
Yeah.
Great for that kind of stuff. Sleeping bag, gotta get one I always say go 5 to 10 degrees lower than what you're actually going to be in. So if you think you're going to be in 0 degree temperature, buy a -5 to -10 rated sleeping bag. Is kind of the go-to, I find personally. And then I found as I've gotten older and my back prefers the Creature Comforts, is a really good quality thermarest, as well as a good quality cot. And you can get some really like lightweight collapsible cots that break down super easy, don't have the bars in the middle that crack your back.
Right.
And, that's crutch, because it gets you off the ground. You lose quite a bit of body heat through the ground. So getting off the ground, throwing that thermarest on top, that's a game changer.
Okay. I never thought about bringing a cot.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because, like when you're on the ground, you're like there. And then
for sure.
Dependent on like when I was at Base Canyon, like I wasn't totally level.
Oh yeah.
So
Gotta find a lesson.
you're trying to it was too late. By the time I pitched the tent and everything, there was 25,000 people there. Like you're not restarting after you put your tent down.
Yeah.
So, but a cot would have been
you could prop one end up and lower yourself off. And,
okay.
Yeah.
I just need to find one that I can travel with. That was the big thing.
Yeah, check out. I mean, there's lots of Canadian Tire, Mountain Equipment Co-op.
Yeah.
There's different opportunity places you can find it.
I need to find a tent that I can stay in longer. That was the thing. Like the one guy, like Dylan, he was staying in his tent till like 11:30. And I'm like, dude, how's it not hot in your tent?
Good ventilation is key.
Yeah.
Something with good ventilation.
Yeah.
If in the summer you need like a tent that's well ventilated. Yeah.
You say in the summer. It's something I've never done, but like, and I'm not saying I'm gonna, but it's something I thought about, winter camping.
I got a buddy that does winter camping. Yeah, I haven't myself, other than the Kidney Lake 24-hour survival lab there. I haven't truly camped, outside in the winter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know folks that do it, and they're all about it. And just, it's like, number one, good quality sleeping bag, get a cot, get yourself off the ground, and yeah, big, like really good sleeping bag really is key. And then there are, 4-season tents that you can get that have a waterproof fly, right, to help repel the snow. And so, or you can get a three-season tents. Usually are good for like a little bit of snow, but if you're, getting into the risk of like a good snowfall, you want probably more of a 4-season tent.
Yeah.
And less ventilation. You want something that's more closed up. And,
right. I'm not trying
still
to
ventilates a little bit, but
yeah. I have buddies, like, and I've gone like ice fishing and stuff, and they put up the tent and you have your little heater, and I'm just sitting in there, and every time I'm sitting in there, I'm just like, I wouldn't do this overnight.
No, I don't recommend running propane overnight. I mean, some folks do, but, they say if you get it well ventilated, but I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, I think, folks, buddies of mine that do winter camping, the key is a good sleeping bag, and then I've heard guys use like a Gore-Tex shell, right, to keep the condensation off your sleeping bag, because there will be condensation just from your breathing.
Yeah.
Get a Gore-Tex shell, sleeping bag, and you're good to go.
Yeah. So one thing that we watched together back in the day, it was during COVID, we rented Banff Mountain Film Festival.
Oh, yeah.
So
coming up again this
year. It is.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask, are you going to?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So that festival, in regards to, for you people who don't know it at home, please go check it out. Banff Mountain Film Festival. The films are amazing. But when you watch films like that, which ones do you gravitate more towards?
I got to say, I'm not I like downhill skiing.
Okay.
Never been. I'm ashamed to admit it. I've lived in Alberta since 2005. I've yet to get to the mountains. I know.
What?
Embarrassing. River Valley Hills my entire life. I know. It's embarrassing. I'm sorry.
We're doing it this winter.
Yeah.
We're going to plan a family trip for the two of us.
When I was in college, I was too broke.
Okay.
To do it. So when most of my buddies were doing the downhill, and just haven't made the venture from Fort Mac out yet. But I have to say the hardcore downhill skiing videos are, I don't know. So I get attracted to those, and then just hiking. Yeah.
Okay, no, we got to figure this out. We got to get the wives on this for, oh man, well, this is the best and worst part about the show. Worst for you guys, we're going to continue to talk, but yeah, we're out of time. Tanner just tapped his watch, but before I cut you loose, everybody gets a shameless shout out or plug. So you have the mic, the camera, the lights. Have fun.
I got to give the plug to my wife. Actually, she's a rock star. She's my rock. If it wasn't for her, she's looking after our other little guy right now. I'll have to say, just having a spouse that's supportive to get out in the outdoors and embrace the weather and getting the kids out is, I say, my shout outs to her.
There we go. Awesome. Well, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, the rest of the world, that's been another episode of the Mac City Morning Show. From the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for tuning in. Big shout out to all of you guys, and I hope you're having a great day. Peace.
I said this. It's another Mac City Morning Show done.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.
The Mac City Morning Show is all about giving people in this awesome community an opportunity to share their stories. It doesn't matter who you are, a business owner, the head of a non-for-profit, a guy who works out at site, or a stay-at-home mom. Everybody's story is unique and special. And here on the Mac City Morning Show, we want to highlight those awesome, unique stories from this incredible community that we call Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo.